Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tech It Out, episode 214. Hope you're having a great day so far on this last weekend of September. We do have a stellar show planned for you this hour with 4 different guests. We're going to kick things off in a moment with Cadillac when we learn about the Cadillac LYRIQ. That's their all-electric luxury SUV, their first EV or electric vehicle coming next year. The company says it has sold out of its reservations for this debut edition in just over 10 minutes last weekend. Wow. But you'll hear all about it shortly, and you can order one next year too, by the way, to get it in the summer. So we'll cover all of that. Also, big news as new iPhones are here. The iPhone 13 family as unveiled by Apple last week. And so we're going to get an in-depth look at them. We'll chat with Daniel Bader. He's a mobile tech reviewer, an all-around great guy, who's going to give us the skinny on these new iPhone 13 devices, which excel in a few areas, especially in the camera and battery life department. Also on this show, Home Depot will join us to chat about an app and platform called Hubspace. Helps you manage your smart home devices. And we're also going to hear all about the Owlet Smart Sock Plus, billed as the last baby monitor you'll ever need. We'll hear why. All of this and more on an all-new Tech It Out, powered by Asus for those in search of incredible, which I'll tell you more about shortly. But let's officially kick off the show with our first interview. Reservations for the first ever electric Cadillac, the 2023 Cadillac LYRIQ, sold out in just over 10 minutes last weekend. But that doesn't mean you can't get behind the wheel of this luxury SUV EV in 2022 when it ships. And so joining us to tell us all about the Cadillac LYRIQ, which is spelled LYRIQ, is Kristen Lewis, marketing manager for Cadillac LYRIQ. Welcome to the show, Kristen. Good to chat with you.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
All right, so why don't we dive right in at a high level? Tell us about the Cadillac LYRIQ. This is the first Cadillac EV or electric vehicle, correct?
Yes, it is. I'd love to tell you about the LYRIQ. We are introducing the 2023 Cadillac LYRIQ Debut Edition. Debut Edition is very special. We are launching this as a well-equipped luxury model, and it'll have a well-contented package for consumers who choose to bring this vehicle into their homes. We'll be offering over 300 miles of range. We have available Super Cruise, which is the industry's first hands-free driver assistance system. We have this incredibly beautiful 33-inch diagonal advanced LED display screen. I don't know if you've had a chance to see that yet, but it's something that we're certainly proud of.
Yeah, I have indeed.
Great. And all of this at a starting price of $59,990. which includes destination. So we're very excited about this initial product offering for the LYRIQ.
I just interviewed somebody from Inside EV publication, one of the biggest in the electric vehicle space, and he said that he was blown away at the price for what you get, the kind of luxury that you would expect from a Cadillac and all the bells and whistles like Super Cruise and the range that you're getting for that price. Not to mention you'll never have to pay for gas again, which is really great.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
And this is, correct me if I'm wrong, Kristen, this is part of GM's overall vision for an electrified future, right? Your CEO, Mary Barra, spoke at the 2021 Consumer Electronics Show and sort of painted this future, this vision for the company. Is that fair?
That's right. And Cadillac is the spearhead of that vision. So we'll be introducing an all-electric portfolio by the end of the decade.
And I think by 2025, there was a commitment of 30 or 35 brands across all the different verticals, right? Like GMC and Chevrolet right. And all that. Yeah, really impressive. All right, going back to range, 300 miles or so on a full charge is what you could expect from the Cadillac LYRIQ, comparable to many other EVs out there. And this is all tied to the new Ultium battery that GM has.
That's right. LYRIQ will be built on our all-new Ultium battery platform. It's a highly flexible, highly technological breakthrough for the company. And LYRIQ Debut Edition will have our 12-module, 100.4 kilowatt hour battery pack that will power the vehicle. The Debut Edition will come standard with a one-motor rear-wheel drive propulsion system.
Okay. And some people may be concerned about how long it takes to charge up the EV, but I think they'll be impressed here. So with that in mind, does it support DC or fast charging stations? And I know you can also plug it in at home, right?
That's right. That's right. LYRIQ does support high-speed DC fast charging. We have capability up to 190 kilowatts. What that means for customers at a high-speed DC fast charging station, they'll be able to add about 76 miles of range in just 10 minutes. So in the time that it takes you to run in and grab a cup of coffee, you've got 76 miles of range in your vehicle.
Awesome.
At home, LYRIQ will charge at the fastest speeds currently available by industry standards. LYRIQ will come standard with a 19.2 kilowatt charging module, which will give customers about 52 miles of range in an hour.
Okay. So, of course, most people listening have a regular, 120 volt AC plug, maybe in their garage if they have one, or a carport. So that will work. It'll just be the slowest. But you could also, if you want, install a 240 volt plug at home to speed that up. I think a lot of your customers would do that.
Yeah, the 120 volt is really basic for emergency situations where you just need to top off, or you're in a situation where maybe you're at your boat, right? And there happens to be a plug right there, just something that you can keep that trickle going. We really do encourage people to, in their homes, to install that 240 volt home charging station. And we will be working with our customers on installation opportunities as we get closer to LYRIQ coming to market. So next year, we'll be introducing a program for customers to go ahead and do that, to get their homes ready.
Awesome. We are chatting with Kristen Lewis. We're learning about the 2023 Cadillac LYRIQ, the Debut Edition, which is the company's first all-electric luxury SUV EV. Very cool stuff. You've given us a bit of a glimpse as to what we could expect under the hood. As a techie, I get really excited about all of this stuff. But talk to us a bit more about Super Cruise. So this is your semi-autonomous driving or driving assist system, right?
It is. We're very excited about Super Cruise, and it's an exciting feature that we've had in our Cadillac vehicles for a number of years, and we are able to bring it to more vehicles going forward. And again, the LYRIQ Debut Edition will come standard with Super Cruise. This is our hands-free driver assistance technology. And if you've not had a chance to drive it, I would highly encourage you to do so. It's such an incredible experience when you're sitting behind the wheel of a vehicle and you're driving down the highway and you get the indicator light that comes on the driver information center that tells you you're on a Super Cruise enabled road. With the single press of a button, you can take your hands off the steering wheel and sit back and relax, and the car does the driving for you. You need to keep your attention forward, of course, and be prepared for, if the car is asking you to take over, to get your hands back on the wheel. But I can tell you, just from a personal example, for me, I was driving to the East Coast a few weeks ago in a Super Cruise enabled Escalade, and I drove through the entire state of Pennsylvania hands-free. So it's an exciting feature. It lets you relax and enjoy the trip, and you just get there feeling much more refreshed and knowing that you've got Super Cruise helping you along the way. I highly encourage you to get behind the wheel if you have not yet done so.
Yeah, so I have a video of me on YouTube if our listeners want to Google Mark Saltzman Super Cruise, where I'm behind the wheel of a Cadillac CT6 and driving on a highway, on a freeway, completely hands-free. So what that means, by the way, is that the vehicle will accelerate or decelerate based on the traffic around you and curve along the road inside of your lane, which you don't have to do either. So you really can just, relax in it and enjoy the ride. But there is a camera on you to make sure that you're not, reading a book or playing on your phone,
That's right.
which I really like too. It's smart to add that kind of technology, but you don't need to put your hands on the wheel like some other semi-autonomous driving aids with other vehicles. Let's talk about audio. So I understand it's got AKG audios. How many speakers?
It does. It comes standard with a 19-speaker AKG studio sound system. Wow. The best part of it is you get headrest speakers standard. So you are fully immersed in sound. It is an incredible audio system.
And something that I got used to with my CT6 are the massage chairs. And I popped my head into a Cadillac LYRIQ the other day and noticed that the front seats do have that, look, it's a Cadillac. You want to be pampered while you're driving, right? So,
that's right.
So that's also standard with Cadillac LYRIQ as well. So let's wrap up with the fact that the reservations did sell out so quickly. Congratulations. That's awesome. But what if you weren't on that list? What do you do if you're interested in either test driving the LYRIQ? When will that be available? And then ordering it when you're able to?
Yeah, thank you. We're very excited about the response that we received this weekend during our reservation program. We did sell out very quickly. We did see a very high demand for this vehicle. If you were not able to secure a reservation for the LYRIQ Debut Edition last weekend, we encourage encourage you to go to Cadillac.com. On Cadillac.com, you'll see a call to action button where you can contact your dealer. And by clicking on that button, you will be put in touch with both a dealer and Cadillac. And we will keep you informed about, not only about LYRIQ, we're telling stories about the makers behind LYRIQ. We are also keeping you up to date on when more vehicles are becoming available. And we do expect more ordering to open on LYRIQ in the summer of 2022.
Okay. And one more thing, you can go to live.cadillac.com to get a virtual walkthrough of the Cadillac LYRIQ. I believe it's held in groups every afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern. Very cool. Thank you so much for your time. Great to chat with you. And I look forward to doing it again sometime soon. All the best.
Thank you. It was wonderful chatting with you.
Don't forget this hour, we're going to learn all about the iPhone 13 family, the mini, the regular iPhone 13, the Pro and the Pro Max. Are they worth your hard-earned money? We'll talk with Daniel Bader, a tech expert, about that. Home Depot will join us this hour to discuss Hubspace, a new app and platform that ties all their smart home devices together. And when we return after this short break, we'll catch up with Owlet to learn about their Smart Sock Plus. This is a wearable device for babies and toddlers, so stay with us on that. This show, Tech It Out, is powered by ASUS for those in search of incredible. ASUS creates technology for today and tomorrow's smart life, and that includes its line of award-winning laptops, which you can check out at asus.com/US/radio. Check out their ZenBooks and VivoBooks in particular. Again, that's asus.com/US/radio. We'll be right back with more Tech It Out.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. Called the last baby monitor you'll ever need, a new product called the Owlet Smart Sock Plus goes above and beyond what other baby monitors are capable of, giving moms and dads some extra peace of mind when their infant or toddler is in their room. Joining us from Owlet to learn more is CEO and co-founder Kurt Workman. Welcome to the show, Kurt.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
Great. Now, before we talk about Smart Sock Plus, please tell us a bit about Owlet. I understand the company was founded by a team of parents. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. So my two co-founders and I'm a dad. I have 3 beautiful children. My oldest son is going on 8 and my youngest is 2. And it was actually right before my oldest son, Ashton, was born. We were visiting my wife's cardiologist to just check up and make sure she was going to be healthy in pregnancy. And she's had 3 heart surgeries. And just wanted to make sure everything was okay. And they said she was fine, but they were worried that our kids might have the same congenital heart defect. And so that got my mind spinning. When my wife was a baby, they didn't detect it. And they ended up rushing her back to the hospital at 10 days old for an emergency heart surgery. So I remember thinking, like, how would I know that, everything was okay? How could I assess and make sure baby's doing okay at home? And at that time, a friend of mine was working at the hospital as a nurse and talked to me about this technology that they use called pulse oximetry. It's that little red light that they put on your finger when you go into the hospital that tracks your heart rate and oxygen levels. And it's just an incredible tool for doctors and nurses to know when to go check on their patients. It's kind of the primary use case. And I thought, that's amazing. Sound and video monitors are great, but they really only give you information when you're awake and paying attention to them. You kind of have to monitor the monitor to know baby's okay. And so we started to work on this concept of the Owlet Smart Sock. This is back in 2013. And now over 1 million babies have used the Smart Sock. It's the #1 monitor on the market today. And 96% of parents that use it report less anxiety and more peace of mind and are getting better sleep.
Wow. Congratulations. And with that in mind, now tell us about the Owlet Smart Sock Plus. What's it all about?
We kept getting parents that would come to us and say, hey, I have, I want to have access to this for my child that's 3 or for my child that's 5. And they would take the existing Smart Sock and they would modify it. They'd sew like an additional piece onto it so that it would fit. And it became one of the bigger requests we got from customers. And I had a few personal reasons that I wanted it too. And so we started to work on it. And 75% of our customers said that they did want access to the Smart Sock as a tool beyond the first 18 months. So Smart Sock Plus actually extends the benefits of knowing your baby's heart rate and oxygen levels and sleep quality from 18 months up to age 5. So parents can pull that out when they feel like they have a need to check in on their baby. And, parents become caregivers literally overnight. You're the doctor and the nurse and the sleep trainer. And I went through more training to get a driver's license than I did to become a dad. And the only tool that they give you is this little thermometer. So having access to more information about your child when you need it is just very much par for the course. It's part of the role of being a new parent. And parents want the best tools available for their child. So Smart Sock Plus extends the Smart Sock benefit up to age 5.
Okay, so let's just take a step back though, Kurt, and highlight what the Smart Sock and the Smart Sock Plus is all about. So this is the baby monitor detecting heart rate and oxygen levels and things like that. Can you walk us through what your baby monitors do that others may not?
Yeah, so the Smart Sock is actually, it's a wearable. It's a little baby sock that straps around your baby's foot and Velcros on. And through light, you can determine heart rate and oxygen levels, similar to what they use in the hospital. So it tracks your baby's heart rate and oxygen levels, and then can notify you if they go outside of preset zones, if you need to go check on them. And again, it's just a better way to know that baby's okay. You don't have to monitor the monitor. 96% of parents report less anxiety and peace of mind. We also have the Owlet Cam, which works with the Smart Sock. So when you open up the Owlet app, if you have the camera and the Smart Sock, you can see your baby, hear your baby, and know that they're okay by looking at the heart rate and oxygen levels.
So the camera is optional, is that right, Kurt? You sell that separately. It's not part of a bundle?
That's right. Yeah. So it's sold separately. You can buy it in a bundle and you get a discount when you bundle it together. We call that system the Duo, but they're two separate pieces of hardware.
And how do parents get this information in real time? Is it strictly through like an app on their phone or a tablet? And do you have to be at home? Like, is it only Wi-Fi or does it work on cellular? Or is there like a monitor that you get with it that you may place in, say, a kitchen or something?
Yeah, we call it the base station, and it's a little standalone monitor that all the data gets sent through, and that can, with lights and sounds, can notify you if you need to check on baby. And then all of it, the base station connects to Wi-Fi, so you can stream it to your phone. You can see all this information on your phone. And it also, you can connect to it outside of the home. So really anywhere in the world, you can check in on your baby, which is great when you're going on a work trip.
Sure. Or even date night. We had 3 kids in 2 years, actually. We got a boy-girl twin and then another son who's 2 years younger. And I remember how much I looked forward to those weekly date nights just to clear our head and have the in-laws look after the kids. But, when you're sitting at the dinner table at a restaurant, you're often curious, are the kids sleeping? Are they doing okay? So this can help alleviate that. So it is an app as well. There is like a Smart Sock
That's
app.
Right. You can download the Owlet app in the Apple Store and the Google Play Store.
And is there a monthly service or is that all part of the purchase?
There's not. Yeah, it's all part of the purchase.
So without further ado, Kurt, let's hear how much the Owlet Smart Sock Plus costs. And if you are an existing Smart Sock customer, how much it costs for them.
So the Owlet Smart Sock Plus is $359 if you're buying it new. And existing customers can upgrade for an additional $69 to the Smart Sock Plus if you have the existing Smart Sock. And you can order online at owletcare.com. You can go to one of our retailers. It's Amazon, Best Buy, Target, Bye Bye Baby. Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Kurt, great to chat with you. Kurt Workman, CEO and co-founder of Owlet. It's been a pleasure and have a fantastic fall.
Thank you so much. You too.
A lot more Tech It Out coming right up after this.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out. Tech It Out with technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman.
You're listening to Tech It Out. I'm your host, Mark Saltzman. Thanks for tuning in. Home Depot is no stranger to technology. Just walk through the aisles and you'll see smart lights and Wi-Fi thermostats, security cameras, water sensors, and video doorbells, just to name a few kinds of products. Well, now the company has launched Hubspace. It's a new app and product family that works with it. And joining us to give us the skinny on Hubspace is Nick Millette. He's the product development merchant for Smart Home at Home Depot. Welcome to the show, Nick. Good to chat with you.
Hey, Mark, thanks for having me on.
Sure. Now, before we talk about Hubspace, this new app, as I mentioned in my introduction, there seems to be more and more tech in the aisles at Home Depot, as well as online. But why is this space important to the company?
Smart home has been one of those areas that's really been about to blow up for, the past decade. But really, we've seen our customers over the past, 2 to 3 years really start to to adopt smart home more and more. And really, we're just following the customer and where the customer's taking us. So as the customers have taken us more into smart home and the demand there has increased, we increase our assortment of smart home products.
Yeah. And there's so many benefits, right? I mean, there's the automation, which adds convenience. You know, a lot of it is just controlled through an app or your voice. It adds security, or at least peace of mind, you know, to have a camera on your home and your property when you're not there. You could save money with like water sensors that can detect an issue. You know, so there's so many benefits, and you don't have to break the bank, which I really love. All right. So without further ado, let's hear all about Hubspace. What is it?
So yeah, Hubspace is an exclusive smart home platform from Home Depot that allows our DIYers to build and manage their smart home products through a very easy mobile app and product setup experience. So it's for our Home Depot proprietary brands. So brands like Hampton Bay, EcoSmart, Defiant, Commercial Electric that customers have seen and known in our stores for decades and trust. Hubspace is the mobile app that you'll download from the App Store, but it's also the infrastructure behind the app as well, the platform, if you will, that we've set up to really bring our proprietary brands into the smart home space.
So these are your own products. You mentioned a few of the brands that may be familiar to our listeners. And the idea is that it's a platform, so it encompasses it all, and it's all sort of the glue that holds it all together.
Yeah. So, we've been working on this journey for a long time, studying the market, figuring out the right time and the right way to really bring our brands into the space in a safe and responsible way. So, it's been a lot of studying the market and figuring out really the right way to do it for our customers and for Home Depot. And about 2 or 3 years ago, I ran into a company called Affero out in California. And Affero is really our one-stop shop from an IoT perspective on the solution behind Hubspace, but it really is the mobile app, the cloud, the platform, the firmware and the products. We even have our own Hubspace module, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth module. So it's really the whole package that we put together to bring our brands into the smart home space.
Even though this is a show about tech, I'll just bring everybody up to speed quickly. IoT is an acronym for Internet of Things. It's all these devices that can all talk to one another over some sort of wireless connection. And then you also mentioned firmware. This is software that updates what a piece of hardware can do. And often that can be updated by the consumer as well. And how many products in total work with Hubspace, Nick?
So right now, in store or online, we have about 20 products from our lighting and electrical kind of assortment of products that are available to customers. Things like indoor and outdoor smart plugs, ceiling fans, light bulbs, landscape lighting transformers, recessed lights, with many more products to come in the future.
I love smart plugs, by the way, because it can make any appliance or light or whatever is plugged into it smart. So for example, if you have like a coffee maker, you can plug that into a smart plug, which is just this little sort of dongle, this middleman, if you will, that goes between the plug from the coffee maker and then into the wall, the AC outlet. And then now you can then do things like use your voice or an app to start or stop the coffee maker, set timers and schedules and things like that, even though the product wasn't designed to do that. I really like that.
Yeah. And one of my favorite use cases is replacing the mechanical timers of old that people would use for, the lamp that's by the front door or the Christmas tree.
Yeah, great.
And we have great sunrise and sunset settings that changes based on the sunset and sunrise times of each day. So it's down to like the second on when, the sunrises or sunsets based on your location. So that's been a really value add feature that our customers have enjoyed.
Yeah, again, boiling down to convenience. And I understand these products work with this Hubspace app, which is free to download. But does that mean you don't need to open up different apps for different products like we used to have to do? It's all in the Hubspace app?
That's correct.
Okay.
For all of our Home Depot proprietary brand products, they will all work in the Hubspace app. If you want to integrate and use them on the Google platform or the Amazon Alexa platforms, we make that as seamless and easy an experience to get our products from Hubspace to those platforms as possible. But if you want to just use the Hubspace platform, that's completely fine. And
speaking of which, does it work with smart speakers as well? And if so, can you give us an idea of what you would say to activate your smart home tech with your voice?
Yes, it absolutely does. So it works with Google Home and Amazon Alexa platforms today. And you could say, for example, hey, whichever smart speaker the customer wants to use, turn on the Christmas tree or turn on the ceiling fan. And it'll turn on the Christmas tree or ceiling fan. It's a very simple, great user experience.
Okay, great. Before we wrap up, Nick, what would you say would be the primary benefit of installing Hubspace on your phone?
I think that the best part about Hubspace is it is free to use for the consumers. It is also one of the most seamless, easy product setup processes that you're going to find out there in the smart home market today. So if you're someone who's intimidated by smart home or just getting into the smart home space, we've made that setup experience as seamless and easy as possible for any customer who is, just getting into the smart home space or a true, home automation enthusiast.
Awesome. So you don't have to be tech savvy in order to use this platform. It's super intuitive, which I applaud. With all the work that I do as a journalist, as a radio show host on TV, is all about breaking down geek speak into street speak. So anything that can help even regular folks embrace this smart home revolution, I'm all for it. So again, it's Hubspace, free to download and use, which is awesome. It works with Home Depot's own exclusive smart home brands. Is there a place, though, Nick, you would recommend to learn more about Hubspace or to get going with the app?
Yeah, so you can go to homedepot.com/Hubspace, or if you open the Home Depot shopping app or just go to the Home Depot website, you can type in Hubspace, Hubspace, and it'll take you to the website where you can learn more information and see all the products that are available for sale.
Okay, and available for both iOS and Android?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
So for iPhone and Android devices like Samsung or Google Pixel or what have you, again, Hubspace, if you want to do a search at your app store for that. And we've been chatting with Nick Millette, product development merchant for Smart Home at Home Depot. Thank you so much for your time, Nick. Great to chat with you.
Thanks, Mark.
You're listening to Tech It Out on the Radio America Network. This show is powered by ASUS for those in search of incredible. ASUS is spelled ASUS, and the website asus.com/US/radio has all you'll need to read about their laptops and desktops, monitors, smartphones, and more. We'll be right back with more Tech It Out.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Tech It Out, hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. Well, the iPhone 13 family is officially here, promising a slew of new features, of course, ranging from a better screen and nicer cameras to a faster processor and longer-lasting battery. But what do the critics think? Well, who better to talk to than a mobile phone expert, Daniel Bader. He's a frequent guest on this program based in Toronto. Always great to chat with you, Daniel. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much for having me, Mark.
Sure. Why don't we dive right in? iPhone 13, I don't know how much was a surprise that Apple unveiled last week. A lot of rumors and speculation leading up to the big event, but you have had a chance to play around with the new family. So tell us about them.
Yeah, these are very iterative improvements to all four phones. We have the small iPhone 13 mini, the regular iPhone 13, which I think most people who are just looking for a new iPhone are going to gravitate towards. Then we have the iPhone 13 Pro and the Pro Max, the 13 Pro Max, which is very, very big. And, these are all similar looking phones. I think the first thing you'll notice is that the notch at the top gets a little narrower this year, which is nice. It's been 4 years since Apple introduced the iPhone 10, and that notch is not reduced in size at all.
And they get a lot of flack for that, right? Like journalists.
Deservedly so.
Yeah, it's kind of silly when their competitors have like just a little dot where the camera is. Why would Apple still have that big notch?
I think it's because of this Face ID system that requires all these different sensors to stay secure, and they don't have a finger sensor like a lot of the Android phones do. So regardless of the reason, I think it's a very distinctive look. And this whole flatter design carries over from last year as well. The edges are a little bit more angular. And I think all four of these phones feel extremely well built. The iPhone 13 mini and iPhone 13 are aluminum, and the Pros are stainless steel. And they really do feel expensive, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. And they are.
and they certainly are, which we'll talk about a bit later. I think the reason people are going to want to pay attention to these phones this year are for two reasons. The cameras are upgraded across the board, and that goes all the way from the smaller phone up to the larger 13 Pro Max. And then the battery life, you mentioned that has been improved. I think for anybody who bought an iPhone 12 series phone, that was the biggest concern. It was The 11 series had great battery life. And last year, Apple put a really powerful chip in the phones and reduced battery size a little bit. And as a result, people were hard up to get through a whole day often without recharging.
Yeah.
And this year, Apple addressed that, and they addressed it in a very significant way.
Yeah. And I hope so, because that's kind of just table stakes. Like, you should have at least one day of battery life out of your phone. That's not asking, and that is the irony, I guess, is that the more these things do, they are supercomputers that fit in your pocket, the harder it is on the battery. But without that, I know it's not a sexy feature to advertise better battery life, but it's so critical. So finally, we're now getting the performance we want, but the same battery level. And they've quantified it, right? Like 2.5 hours more on the Max Pro, or is that right? Something like that?
Yeah, the larger phones get around 2.5 hours more of use, and then the small iPhone 13 mini gets an hour and a half more.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people who like small phones and bought the iPhone 12 mini really expecting to have the same experience as a larger phone. And you get everything but the battery life. That was really the main complaint. So this year, Apple's addressed it to some extent. You may not get through an entire day, but you'll get closer to dinner or after dinner before you need to power it up. And the whole reason for Apple updating its phones every year is that technology gets cheaper to bring down from the more expensive products to the less expensive products, and then they can debut these amazing new features on the more expensive one. So that's really what we have with the iPhone 13 mini and 13. They inherit the camera systems from the Pro models last year. So you heard about this incredible sensor shift technology that allows you to move your hand and the phone would adjust the camera to keep everything stable and to prevent motion blur. That was exclusively in the iPhone 12 Pro Max last year. That's now in the iPhone 13 mini and 13, which are significantly cheaper.
Yeah.
The camera sensors are bigger. And then there's this new feature called cinematic mode, which uses intelligence to intelligently shift between focal lengths. So you have something in the foreground and something in the background. Apple's using its own algorithms to figure out what it should be focusing on. And if you've ever watched a movie where there's this rolling shutter, say somebody turns her head and focuses on something in the background, this phone will do it automatically.
Yeah, that's called rack focus, right?
Rack focus. And it's one of those things where Apple doesn't really debut specs. They prefer to talk about features of their products. Sure. And this is a good example of that.
So if you're shooting a video of two people talking, one is closer to the camera, maybe they're sitting at a table, and they're talking to a, bartender that's a couple of feet behind them. When the person who's sitting at the table turns away from the camera, maybe looks at the bartender, the focus will then sharpen the bartender's face. And that's something that would have otherwise been very difficult to do on a mobile phone, if not exclusively tied to manual focus. So this is all a huge boost, I would think, for those who use their phones for videography, and a lot of people do. They also have a new macro feature, right? So you can take really great photos close up of objects like fruit or flowers or insects, things like that.
A little disgusting insects, as I've been looking around my my garden find yesterday for examples of the macro mode.
All right, so let's hear more about that when we return, Daniel. We're chatting with Daniel Bader about the iPhone 13 family. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Follow Mark Saltzman on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Listen to Check It Out whenever you want.
We're chatting with Daniel Bader, a mobile tech expert, a seasoned tech expert. He's been around for a while, has an eye for photography as well. And the two go hand in hand, let's face it. So who better to have on to the program than Daniel when you're chatting iPhone 13s and a huge push toward phonography, as they call it. And tell us a bit about I don't want to get too into the weeds, into the geek speak, but there's a new chip powering these devices. Talk to us about the importance of that, what it means for gamers, as well as the screen, the 120 hertz screen on the Pro models, what that means exactly.
Yeah, I'll talk very briefly about the A15 Bionic. Apple has been creating its own chips that it puts inside its phones for 10 years now, since the first iPad in 2010, and has then released a new chip every year. This is a minor update over the A14 Bionic that was in the iPhone 12s. In fact, Apple has not really disclosed much about the improvements themselves, if only to say that it is considerably faster than the competition. Now, Apple, by saying that, is calling out Qualcomm specifically by saying, our phones are not only beautiful, they're not only great with photos, but they're faster than any Android phone you can buy. And that's really just doubling down on their advantage. The A15 is faster. It's a little bit more energy efficient. But really where you're gaining is in the GPU and the graphical abilities. If you are a gamer and you like to set your phone down on a desk and attach, you can even pair a DualSense or an Xbox controller this year with iOS 15, and you can record your own games as part of that. So you can basically pretend that you're playing an Xbox or a PlayStation. This is going to be a really great little portable gaming system. And Apple has been investing a lot of money in its new arcade subscription service where you can play new games, some of which are console quality. So all this goes hand in hand, right? Apple's not just updating its chip with a faster GPU for the heck of it. They're doing it so that you can get as close to a console gaming experience as possible with a phone. And part of that, as you mentioned, is the 120 hertz display. Now, without going geeky, all you need to know is that your already smooth iPhone experience from previous years, if you buy the 13 Pro or Pro Max, is going to be even smoother. It means that the screen is refreshing up to 120 times per second, which is double that of the previous iPhone. The difference here, though, is that Apple's not just ramping things up to 120. It's not just turning the volume to 11 the entire time. It's actually able to go down to 10 hertz when there is nothing moving on the screen. And what that does is it helps extend battery life. That's really the main advantage of this. It's a dynamic system that slows things down when you don't need movement, and then it ramps it up when you're playing games or doing something with high speed. And that's how Apple is really getting that extra 2.5 hours of battery life. It's not just increasing the battery size, it's making the whole stack a little bit more efficient.
Awesome, Daniel. There's even more to unpack here if we had the time. There's some new colors. There's the new iOS 15 operating system that you touched on, which is free for other iPhone owners to download as well. But do you have any videos or anything online we can read more? A deeper dive, Daniel, for those who are on social media, for example?
Yeah, if you want, you can find me at JourneyDan on Twitter, and my friends at iMore have full coverage of all of the new iPhones. They start at around $700. They're not cheap, but they're certainly affordable if you are maybe trading in a phone. And these are good upgrades for anybody who has an iPhone today.
Awesome. And of course, it does go up in price if you go to that iPhone 13 Pro Max model. They also start at more storage as well, right? It's 128 gigs instead of 64.
128 gigs standard now on all the models, and you get some new colors, including this new Sierra Blue, which I really, really like. So
awesome.
If you're into colors, there's lots of options.
I want to check out some of your macro photography online as well. So hopefully you'll post those pictures. And then just finally, Daniel, is it overall a thumbs up, thumbs down for iPhone 13 family, or more of a come see, come saw?
No, absolutely. I don't think a lot of people are upgrading from last year's models. If you're replacing a 3 or 4 year old iPhone, these are very, very good upgrades, and you're definitely going to notice a difference.
All right. At JourneyDan on Twitter.
That's right.
Always great to chat with you, Daniel. All the best. Thanks so much for carving out some time to talk.
Thank you, Mark. It's been great.
I remember meeting Dan at an industry event like 15 years ago, and has always been the nicest guy in the room. Seriously. And a smart one, as you can tell. Thank you, Dan Bader, for joining us on Tech It Out. And I hope you enjoyed this show. We covered the new Cadillac LYRIQ, the first all-electric luxury SUV EV from the company. We talked about a baby monitor, these little socks that babies and now toddlers can wear for parents to have a little bit of extra peace of mind. Home Depot joined us with their new Hubspace app and platform. And one more time, thank you to ASUS, the title sponsor on this program. Check out their awesome laptops at asus.com. And speaking of computers, don't forget to properly back up your files on a regular basis with an offline solution, a local storage solution like a Western Digital external hard drive or solid state drive, or maybe a SanDisk USB drive, anything like that. westerndigital.com has more. Thank you for tuning in to Tech It Out, everyone. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll catch up with you next time. Be well. Ciao.